My stepdaughter screamed, "My real dad is cool, you're boring," and packed her bags. I replied, "Have fun." I didn't stop her. 2 weeks later, she called me sobbing because her cool dad stole her savings and left her to babysit his new girlfriend's kids. And then, 38 male, have been married to my wife, 36, for 7 years. She has a daughter, 16, from a previous relationship. I've been in this kid's life since she was 9. Raised her, paid for her phone, her clothes, her activities, helped with homework, drove her to soccer practice 3 times a week for 4 years until she quit because it was boring. Her biological father hasn't paid child support in 3 years. Shows up maybe twice a year with expensive gifts he probably can't afford, takes her out for a fun weekend, then disappears again. Classic Disneyland dad situation. But to hear my stepdaughter tell it, he's amazing. He's cool. He lets her do whatever she wants. He doesn't have stupid rules like I do. My stupid rules include: be home by 10 p.m. on weeknights, maintain a B average, do your assigned chores, no boys in your room with the door closed, and tell us where you're going. Real totalitarian stuff, right? This has been building for about a year. Every disagreement turned into, "You're not my real dad." Every boundary became, "My dad would let me." Every rule was evidence that I'm a controlling jerk. 2 weeks ago, it came to a head. She wanted to go to a party. Some senior's house, parents out of town, known for getting busted by cops. I said, "No, that's not fair. Everyone's going." "Everyone's not my problem. You're not going." "Mom, tell him he can't control me." My wife backed me up. We both said no. End of discussion. My stepdaughter went nuclear. Screaming, crying, the works. Then she pulled out her phone and called her bio dad. Loud enough for us to hear. "Dad, can I come live with you? I can't deal with them anymore. They're so controlling. You understand me, right?" I heard him through the phone. "Of course, baby girl. You can always come stay with your old man. I'll come get you this weekend." She hung up, smiled at me. "I'm moving in with my real dad. He actually cares about me." I looked at my wife. She looked devastated. I was just tired. "Okay," I said. "What?" My stepdaughter blinked. "Okay, if that's what you want, pack your things." You're not gonna stop me?" "Nope, you're 16. Old enough to make your own choices. Old enough to live with them too." My wife started to protest, but I squeezed her hand. We'd talked about this possibility before. We had a plan. My stepdaughter stared at me, clearly expecting me to fight harder. When I didn't, she stomped upstairs and started packing. Friday came. Bio dad showed up in his beat-up truck. Helped her load her stuff. She wouldn't even look at us. "You'll regret this," she yelled from the passenger seat. "Maybe," I said. "Have fun." They drove off. My wife cried that night. I held her. "She'll be back," I said. "And when she comes back, it'll be on our terms. What if she doesn't come back?" Then we gave her the freedom to make her own choices. That's all we can do. Here's what my stepdaughter didn't know. Bio dad lives in a 1-bedroom apartment 2 hours away. He's currently unemployed after getting fired from his 3rd job this year. His new girlfriend has 3 kids under age 7. He's been dodging child support enforcement for years. We knew all this. My wife's lawyer keeps tabs, but I didn't tell my stepdaughter any of that. Some lessons you have to learn yourself. It's been 2 weeks. We've heard nothing. My wife checks her phone constantly. I've been keeping busy. Working, hitting the gym, meal prepping for one less person. Yesterday my stepdaughter called. She was crying. Hard. Can I come home?" Update 1. 3 days later. Got a lot of questions about what happened, so here's the update. When my stepdaughter called crying, asking to come home, I didn't answer right away. "What happened?" I asked. Between sobs, "Dad, he took my money. All of it, from my savings account." Backstory. My stepdaughter had about $3,200 saved up. Birthday money, Christmas money, some from a part-time job she'd worked last summer. We'd helped her open a savings account when she was 14. Joint account, her and my wife. "How did he take it?" I asked, though I already knew. He said he needed to borrow it, for rent. Said he'd pay me back next week. But then I heard him and his girlfriend talking about buying a new TV, and I looked at the account, and it's empty. All of it. I felt bad for her. I did. But I also needed her to understand something. "That's rough," I said. Can you come get me? Please?" "Where's your dad?" "He left. Said he had to go to work, but he doesn't have a job. His girlfriend is here with her kids, and she told me I needed to watch them while she goes to the store. So you're babysitting. I'm not a babysitter, but she said since I'm living here rent-free, I need to contribute, and there's no food, like barely anything, and I'm sleeping on the couch because there's only one bedroom and the girlfriend and her kids sleep there with dad. Sounds like you're learning a lot about your real dad. Silence on her end. Please, she whispered. I'll do anything. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please come get me. I'll talk to your mom, I said. We'll call you back. Hung up. My wife was right there, had heard the whole thing. She was torn between mother instinct and the need to let our daughter face consequences. We should go get her, she said. Not yet. She's in a bad situation. She's learning, and she's safe. She's not in danger, just uncomfortable. That's different. You're really gonna make her stay there? For a little while longer, yes. My wife wasn't happy, but she trusted me. We'd agreed to present a united front no matter what. I called my stepdaughter back an hour later. Here's the deal, I said. You can come home, but not today, not tomorrow. You're going to stay there for 1 week. Experience what life with your real dad is actually like. A week? I can't. Yes, you can. You wanted this. You chose this. Now you live with it. That's cruel. No, that's called consequences. You told us we were controlling. You told us your dad was better. Prove it. Make it work for 1 week. What if I can't? Then you'll figure it out. You're resourceful. I hate you. Okay, call us in a week. I hung up. My wife looked at me like I'd grown a second head. A week? Really? She needs to understand what she threw away. 1 week of reality beats 1,000 lectures. That was 3 days ago. My stepdaughter has called 6 times, texted maybe 20 times. Each time, same story. Bio dad is never home. When he is home, he's drunk or hungover. The girlfriend treats her like a live-in nanny. There's never enough food. She's sleeping on a couch that smells like wet dog. The kids are wild and don't listen to her. She has no privacy. Bio dad keeps promising to pay back her money but hasn't done any. Each time, I say the same thing. 4 more days. My wife is struggling with this. She wants to rescue our daughter. I get it. But I also know that if we rescue her now, she'll learn nothing. Last night, Bio dad called my wife. First time he's called her in 2 years. You need to come get your daughter. Excuse me? My wife put him on speaker. She's not working out here. She's mouthy, she doesn't help out, and she's putting stress on my relationship. She's 16. She's your daughter. Yeah, but I didn't sign up for full-time parenting. That's your job. You told her she could live with you. I thought it would be fun, hang out with my kid, but she's got an attitude and my girl doesn't like her. Then maybe you should step up and actually parent. Look, just come get her. She can visit sometimes, but this isn't working. No. What? You wanted to be the cool dad. You told her she could live with you. You keep her for the week we agreed on. Then we'll discuss it. I never agreed to. You agreed when you picked her up. She's your responsibility right now. Figure it out. She hung up on him. We looked at each other. My wife was shaking. Did I do the right thing? She asked. Yeah, you did. 4 more days. Then we'll go get her. Then the real work begins. Update 2. 1 week later. The week is up. Yesterday we drove 2 hours to pick up my stepdaughter. The apartment complex was worse than I expected. Run down, trash everywhere, broken playground equipment. Bio dad's apartment was on the 3rd floor, no elevator. We knocked. The girlfriend answered. Early 20s, looked exhausted. 3 kids hanging on her screaming. Thank God, she said, she's on the couch. We walked in. The smell hit first. Dirty diapers, stale cigarette smoke, something rotting in the kitchen. My stepdaughter was curled up on a sagging couch, still in the same clothes from 3 days ago, based on her texts. She looked up. Red eyes, greasy hair, lost weight. Can we go? She asked quietly. Where's your father? My wife asked. Gone. He left yesterday, said he needed space. The girlfriend snorted. He went to his buddy's place because he couldn't handle the noise. Left me with all 4 kids. 4? I asked. Her, mine. Same difference when you're stuck doing everything alone. My stepdaughter stood up. My stuff's in trash bags in the corner. We loaded up the car in silence. The whole time I kept waiting for Biodad to show up. He didn't. The drive home was quiet. My stepdaughter sat in the back, staring out the window. About halfway home, she spoke. I'm sorry. We'll talk when we get home, my wife said. We got home. carried her stuff inside. She stood in the living room, looking around like she was seeing it for the first time. "Can I take a shower?" she asked. "Of course." She was in there for 40 minutes. When she came out, her eyes were red again. We sat down in the living room, time for the conversation. "So," I said, "what did you learn?" She was quiet for a long time. That I was stupid. Keep going. That my dad, my bio dad, isn't who I thought he was. And that I had it really good here and I didn't appreciate it. That's a start. She looked at me. "Are you going to let me stay?" "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you actually learned something, or you're just saying what you think we want to hear." "I learned. I promise." I pulled out a piece of paper. "These are the new rules. The house rules haven't changed, but there are some additions specific to you." I'd spent the week writing them. 1. Apology letters to both of us. Real ones, not just sorry. 2. Extra chores for the next month to make up for the disruption to the household. 3. All phone privileges earned back gradually. Start with basic calls and texts, no social media for 2 weeks. 4. Mandatory family therapy, all 3 of us. 5. No contact with bio-dad unless supervised and approved by us. 6. Curfew moved to 9 p.m. for the next 2 months, then we'll reassess. 7. Every dollar she wants to spend beyond basics has to be approved and tracked until trust is rebuilt. She read the list. I waited for the explosion. It didn't come. "Okay," she said quietly. "I deserve this. I know I do." My wife started crying, happy tears this time. "There's one more thing," I said. "Your money. I know it's gone. He's not going to pay me back." "You're right, he's not. But we are." She looked up. "What?" "We're going to pay back the $30s and $200, but not all at once. You're going to work for it." "How?" "Extra chores have a dollar value now. We'll keep a ledger. Every week we'll calculate what you've earned. When you hit $3,200, we're even." That's too generous." "It's not generous. It's teaching you that money has to be earned. Your bio-dad stole from you. That was wrong. But you also made the choice to trust him with something valuable. That was a mistake. This way, you learn the value of what was taken, and you learn not to make that mistake again." She nodded, wiped her eyes. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure." "Why didn't you try harder to stop me from leaving?" I thought about that. "Because you needed to make your own choice, and you needed to see where that choice led. If I'd forced you to stay, you would have resented me forever. This way, you chose, and you learned." "I was really mean to you." "Yeah, you were. I'm sorry. I know. Write it in the letter." She actually smiled. Small, but real. "One more thing," my wife said. "Your bio-dad called today. He wants to know if you're okay." My stepdaughter's face hardened. "What did you tell him?" "Nothing yet." "What do you want us to tell him?" Tell him I'm fine, and that I don't want to talk to him right now." "Are you sure?" my wife asked. "I'm sure. He stole from me. He used me. He didn't want a daughter. He wanted a babysitter. I'm done." I was proud of her in that moment. It was the most mature thing I'd ever heard her say. The aftermath has been interesting. Bio-dad has called 6 times, left voicemails ranging from apologetic to angry to victimized. Each time, the same theme. This is somehow our fault for turning her against him. My wife finally answered yesterday and told him that until he pays back the $3,200 he stole, he's not welcome in our daughter's life. He sputtered, made excuses, hung up. We haven't heard from him since. My stepdaughter has been different, quieter, more thoughtful. She does her chores without complaining. She asked to help with dinner last night. She even apologized to the neighbors for some rude comment she made weeks ago that I didn't even know about. The therapy sessions start next week. The therapist specializes in blended families and teen behavioral issues. She's got her work cut out for her. But here's the thing. I see my stepdaughter looking at me differently now. Not with resentment or annoyance, more like respect, maybe even gratitude. Yesterday she came downstairs and just hugged me. Didn't say anything, just hugged me for a solid 30 seconds and then went back to her room. My wife saw it. "You did good," she said. "We did good," I corrected. Is it a happy ending? I don't know. She's still 16, still has a lot of growing up to do, still might backslide, but she's home, she's learning, and she's starting to understand what real parenting looks like versus what fun-time Disney dad looks like. That's enough for now. Final update, 6 weeks later. Time for the final update because people keep asking how it's going. The short version. It's complicated, but better. The apology letters took her 3 tries each. The first attempts were surface-level sorry I was bad stuff. I sent them back. Told her to actually think about what she did and why it hurt. The final versions were real. She wrote about feeling confused, about being angry at circumstances she couldn't control, her bio-dad leaving when she was young, about taking that anger out on people who actually cared about her, about how she built up this fantasy version of her bio-dad because the reality was too painful. Reading them hurt, but in a good way. The chores thing has been effective. She's earned back about $400 so far. At this rate, it'll take her about a year to work off the full $3,200. She complained once about how long it would take. I reminded her that's exactly how long it would have taken her to save that money in the first place. She hasn't complained since. Therapy has been intense. The therapist doesn't pull punches. Called out my stepdaughter's manipulation tactics, her fantasy thinking, her unwillingness to accept reality. Also called out my wife for being too soft sometimes, too willing to rescue instead of letting natural consequences play out. Called me out too. Said I can be too rigid, too focused on rules over relationship building. Fair points all around. The bio-dad situation resolved itself in the most predictable way possible. He sent a text 2 weeks ago. Hey sweetie, I miss you. Want to grab lunch sometime? Dad's treat. Like nothing happened, like he didn't steal $3,200 and abandon her to babysit strangers' kids in a 1-bedroom apartment with no food. My stepdaughter showed me the text. What should I say? What do you want to say? She thought about it, typed out a response, showed it to me before sending. You stole from me, you lied to me, you used me. When you pay back the $3,200 you stole, we can talk about lunch. Until then, lose my number. She hit send, blocked his number. He sent messages through my wife's phone. Same excuses. It wasn't stealing, it was borrowing. She's being dramatic. You're turning her against me. My wife blocked him too. Last week we got a letter from the Child Support Enforcement Office. Bio-dad was pulled over for a broken taillight. They ran his name, discovered he was thousands behind on child support. They arrested him. He's out now, but on a payment plan. We're actually seeing child support checks again for the first time in 3 years. Tiny amounts, $150 a month, but it's something. That money goes straight into a new savings account for our daughter. One that only she and my wife have access to. Learning moment. School-wise, my stepdaughter is doing better. Her grades actually went up. She's joined the school newspaper. Turns out she likes writing. Who knew? She's made new friends too. Better ones. The kind who have curfews and do homework and don't sneak out to parties. The relationship between us has changed. She calls me by my first name now, instead of avoiding calling me anything. Small step, but significant. Last week she asked if I'd help her practice for her driver's permit test. We spent an hour going through the manual together. You're good at explaining things, she said. Thanks. My bio-dad probably wouldn't have helped with this. Probably not. I'm glad you're here. I had to take a second before responding to that one. I'm glad I'm here too. My wife asked me last night if I have any regrets about how we handled everything. Honest answer? No. Could I have stopped my stepdaughter from leaving? Maybe. Could have made it harder at least. But she needed to see the reality of her choices. She needed to understand that cool dad and good dad aren't the same thing. She needed to learn that love isn't about fun and freedom and no rules. It's about showing up, being consistent, making the hard choices because they're the right choices. She got that lesson. It cost her $3,200 and 2 weeks of her life in a terrible situation. But she got it. Some people in the comments said, I was cruel for making her stay there the full week. That I should have rescued her immediately when she called. Maybe. But I don't think so. If I'd rescued her day one, she would have learned that crying and apologizing gets her out of consequences. She would have come home, been grateful for a day or two, then gradually gone back to the same entitled behavior. This way, she lived with her choice. She saw what cool dad really meant. She understood what she had here, what she threw away, and what it takes to earn it back. Is our relationship perfect now? Hell no. She's still a teenager, still moody, still makes mistakes, still tests boundaries, but she's not screaming, "You're not my real dad" anymore. She's not throwing me in my face every time she doesn't get her way. She's learning that real family isn't about biology. It's about who shows up, who stays, who cares enough to enforce rules even when they're unpopular. Last thing, Bio Dad sent another text yesterday to my stepdaughter's phone that she hasn't blocked yet because she forgot she had an old phone in a drawer. "Hey baby girl, your old man misses you. How about we start over? I'll take you shopping, we can hang out, I'll show you I can do better." She showed it to me. "What do you think?" she asked. "I think he's saying what he thinks you want to hear. But I also think people can change. Whether he has or not, I don't know. Do you think I should give him another chance?" "That's your choice. You're old enough to make it. Just remember, people show you who they are through their actions, not their words. He's had a lot of words, not many actions." She nodded, deleted the message, put the old phone back in the drawer. "Maybe someday," she said, "but not today." "That's fair." She hugged me again, getting used to that. "Thank you," she said, "for not giving up on me even when I deserved it. That's what family does." "Real family," she corrected. "Yeah, real family." So that's where we are. Not perfect, not resolved completely, but better, healing, moving forward. My stepdaughter learned that cool isn't the same as good, that freedom without responsibility is chaos, that the parent who says no sometimes cares more than the parent who always says yes. Hard lessons, but necessary ones. And me? I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone face the consequences of their choices. Not because you want them to suffer, but because you want them to grow. Would I do it again the same way? Yeah, I would. She needed to leave to understand why she should stay. She needed to lose everything to appreciate what she had. Now she knows. And that knowledge is worth more than $3,200. Worth more than 2 weeks of discomfort. Worth more than any lecture I could have given. She's home, she's learning, she's growing. That's all any parent can ask for. Final note. Bio Dad is still dodging most of his child support obligations. The girlfriend broke up with him after he got arrested. Last we heard, he's living with his buddy and working part-time at a warehouse. My stepdaughter hasn't asked about him in 3 weeks. Maybe one day they'll have a relationship. Maybe they won't. Either way, she knows who her real family is now. And that's what matters. My stepmother said to my date, "Just so you know, he's got serious issues. His real mom abandoned him." I smiled and said, "She's not wrong." Then I played the recording of her bragging to friends about driving away all his girlfriends. When my father heard what she'd been doing for years, I, 29 male, brought a girl to family dinner last week. Big mistake. Should have learned after the first 5 times. My stepmom has hated every girlfriend I've ever had. 12 years of this woman finding something wrong with each one. Too loud, too quiet, too ambitious. Not ambitious enough. I genuinely thought I was just terrible at picking partners. Turns out I was right about that, just not in the way I thought. So dinner's going fine. My dad's grilling, I'm helping him outside, and the girl I've been seeing goes inside to help set the table. When we come back in, she's got this weird look on her face. My stepmom's standing there with her arms crossed, looking satisfied. "Everything good?" I asked. "Oh yes," my stepmom said. "We had a nice chat. Just some things she should probably know about you." My stomach dropped. Here we go again. The girl looked uncomfortable. "Your stepmom was telling me about your mom." "I just think honesty is important in relationships," my stepmom continued. "She should know your mother abandoned you when you were 14. That kind of trauma leaves lasting damage. Attachment issues, trust problems, emotional unavailability. Better she knows now what she's getting into than waste her time." The room went quiet. My dad was still outside, clueless. "Here's the thing. My mom didn't abandon me. She died. Breast cancer. Took 2 years. I was there for all of it. That's the trauma, sure. But abandonment? That's my stepmom's favorite lie. And this wasn't the first time she'd used it." I pulled out my phone. Stayed calm. "You're right," I told the girl. "I do have issues, but not the ones she's describing." My stepmom's smile flickered. "My mom died when I was 14. Cancer. 2 years of watching her deteriorate. No abandonment. Just death." The girl's face went pale. She looked at my stepmom, who immediately put on this concerned expression. Sweetheart, I know that's what you believe, but denial is part of the grieving. And here's something else you should know, I said, pulling up my phone. This is from 2 weeks ago, my stepmom's book club. I dropped off groceries and accidentally left my phone recording in the kitchen. Hit play. My stepmom's voice came through clear. This new girl seems sweet, but give it a month. I've gotten rid of 5 already. He has no idea. Last one, I told her he had anger management issues, completely made up, but she bought it. The one before that, I mentioned he was broke and borrowing money. This time I'm thinking the abandonment story again. Works every time. They get scared of all the emotional baggage and run. Just need to keep this up a few more years until he gives up entirely. Then my son gets the full inheritance. Why should my boy have to split his father's business 50-50 with someone who isn't even mine? Her friend's voice, that seems harsh. My stepmom laughing, that's called protecting my family. The recording stopped, nobody moved. The girl was staring at my stepmom with her mouth open. My stepmom had gone from smug to panicked. That's taken out of context. There's more. I pulled up another recording from a month earlier. Family dinner. I'd gone to the bathroom, left my phone on the counter. My stepmom talking to her sister. Once the will is updated, and my son is listed as primary beneficiary, I don't care what happens with him. But right now, if he gets married, everything splits evenly. Can't risk that. Stopped the recording. The girl was already grabbing her purse. I need to leave, she said quietly. Not running from me. Running from this insanity. My stepmom lunged for my phone. Delete those, you can't record people. One-party consent state. I can. That's when my dad walked in with the burgers. What's going on? Dad, I said. Sit down, you need to hear this. Update. Holy hell, this blew up. Answering common questions. Yes, the recordings are legal. No, I'm not pressing charges yet. Yes, my dad lost his mind. So after the girl left, she texted later, we're actually still talking. She thinks I'm handling a psycho situation well. I played my dad everything. About 40 minutes of recordings total. Different occasions over the past month where my stepmom discussed her plans to sabotage my relationships. Watching my dad's face was brutal. He went from confused to angry to this horrible, sad realization. 12 years, he said. She's been doing this for 12 years? I only figured it out recently. Before that, I thought I was the problem. My stepmom tried everything. Those are fake. He edited them. My dad, that's your voice. I was joking with my friends. You named 5 girlfriends and exactly how you sabotaged each relationship. Then the tears. I was protecting you from gold diggers. My dad, what gold? He's an engineer, not a trust fund kid. That's when the real reason came out. My dad's been planning to update his will. Right now, everything goes to her if he dies, with the understanding she'd take care of me and her son. He wanted to change it to split his share of the family machine shop 50-50 between me and my stepbrother. The shop's worth about $800. She didn't want me getting half. You can't give him that, she actually screamed. My son deserves that business. He's worked there 3 years. And my son is my son, my dad said quietly. Doesn't matter who gave birth to him. She lost it. Threw a wine glass at the wall. Called me a manipulative little prick for recording her. Said I was stealing her son's birthright. My dad told her to move to the guest room while they figured things out. She refused. Said if anyone was leaving, it should be me. This is my house, my dad said. I owned it before we married. Guest room or find somewhere else. That's when her sister showed up. This woman came in hot. You're destroying your family over some recordings? He probably edited them. This is elder abuse. My dad's 61. Runs marathons. But sure, elder abuse. My dad told her to leave. She threatened to take this to court. Eventually left with my stepmom, who packed a bag while screaming about lawyers and her rights. Next day, my stepbrother called. Expected him to be pissed. He wasn't. Dude, what the actual hell has my mom been doing? He sounded horrified. She called crying about you poisoning dad against her. But when I asked if she'd really been sabotaging your relationships, she couldn't even deny it. Just kept saying she was protecting the family. You didn't know? I knew she didn't like your girlfriends, but I figured she was just picky. This is insane. I don't want the business if that's how she thinks she has to get it. That's messed up. He called her and told her that. She accused him of being brainwashed by me and my dad. My stepmom's been blowing up my dad's phone. Texts ranging from, "I'm so sorry, baby. I was just scared," to, "My lawyer says I'm entitled to half of everything, including the business." She called me directly. Left a voicemail. "You've always been jealous of my son. Always wanted your dad to yourself. When he realizes what you've done, how you manipulated the situation, you'll be left with nothing. I gave 12 years to this family. You're not taking that from me." The projection is wild. My dad's meeting with a divorce lawyer. Asked me to come since the recordings are evidence. My stepmom's telling everyone her version. That I trapped her with illegal recordings. That I'm trying to steal her husband's money. Some of her friends believe it. But honestly, I feel lighter. 6 relationships sabotaged over 12 years. 6 women who thought I was damaged goods because of her lies. And I just believed it. Thought maybe I really was too messed up from losing my mom. Yeah, therapy's gonna be fun. Update 2. It's been about a week and she's gone completely off the rails. First, she tried to get back in the house while my dad was at work. Still had her key. Didn't know my dad had changed the locks. The doorbell camera caught her trying the key, then literally kicking the door and screaming about being locked out of my own home. My dad sent the footage to his lawyer. Then she filed a police report. Claimed I'd been harassing and threatening her. Completely false. I haven't contacted her at all. Cops showed up at my apartment. I showed them my phone. 0 calls or texts to her. Showed them her voicemail threatening me. The cop looked tired. Keep records. If she files false reports again, you can pursue charges. Great. 2 days later, she showed up at my apartment. My doorbell camera caught the whole thing. She knocked for 10 minutes straight while I ignored her, then started yelling through the door. "I know you're in there. Tell your father the truth. Tell him you edited those recordings. You're destroying my family." Her family. Not ours. I sent the footage to my dad and his lawyer. More evidence. Then she went after my job. Somehow got my work email, sent a message to my supervisor claiming I'd been engaging in illegal surveillance and harassment, and she was concerned about my mental stability. My supervisor called me in, looking uncomfortable. Showed me the email. I explained the whole situation, showed him the recordings existed, explained the divorce. He actually looked relieved. "So you're dealing with a vindictive ex-stepmother. Got it. We'll note this as harassment against you. Let us know if she contacts us again." She tried to get me fired and it backfired. My stepbrother called, sounded stressed. "Mom's planning something. She keeps talking to her sister about making him see the truth and protecting what's ours. I don't know what, but it sounds bad. Thanks for the warning." She also asked me to lie for her. Said I should tell people you've always been violent and angry, that she was scared of you. I said no. She called me a traitor. My dad got served with divorce papers. Expected. What wasn't expected was the restraining order request claiming he'd been emotionally and financially abusive, and she feared for her safety. 0 evidence. Just accusations. My dad's lawyer fired back with everything. Our recordings, the doorbell footage, the false police report, statements from my stepbrother. But here's where I went on offense. See, I'd been curious about why she was so obsessed with that business inheritance. So I looked at the company's public records, found something interesting. Regular payments to a vendor I didn't recognize. Precision Consulting Services, about $2,000 a month for 2 years. Called my dad. "Who's Precision Consulting Services?" Long pause. Never heard of them. They've been getting paid from the business account, $2,000 a month, 2 years. That's almost $50,000. Silence. Then, find everything you can. Took me a few hours, but I found the pattern. The consulting company's address was a P.O. box. Business license registered under her maiden name. The bank account? Joint account with her and her sister. She'd been stealing from the business. My dad was quiet when I showed him. Then, send everything to my lawyer. Now, his lawyer called her lawyer that night. Told them they had evidence of embezzlement, and if she didn't drop the restraining order and agree to reasonable terms, they'd file criminal charges. Her lawyer withdrew from her case. The next day, she showed up at my dad's house. He talked to her through the door, Ring camera recording everything. "You can't do this. That money was compensation. I managed that business. You stole from me for 2 years. I earned it. You never paid me. You wanted to be involved. I gave you bookkeeping because you asked. That's not a paid position. I gave up everything for you. You sabotaged my son's life for 12 years. You tried to manipulate inheritance. You stole 50 grand. And you're acting like you're the victim? She started crying, the loud, manipulative kind. I was trying to secure our future. Your son never appreciated what I did. I raised him. You met him when he was 17. I deserve half that business. You'll get whatever the court says after they see the embezzlement evidence. Leave. She left screaming about taking everything. The restraining order hearing was a disaster for her. She showed up with some bottom-tier lawyer. Judge reviewed everything. Her behavior, the false police report, trying to break in, the email to my employer, and my dad's lawyer mentioned the embezzlement. Request denied. Judge told her lawyer to advise your client that frivolous filings waste the court's time. She started yelling at the judge. He turned my son against me. He's isolating me. Judge, ma'am, compose yourself or you'll be held in contempt. She didn't compose herself. Kept screaming about how I'd ruined everything, how she dedicated her life to this family. Contempt of court, $500 fine. Escorted out by bailiffs. My dad filed a formal police complaint about the embezzlement. They're investigating. My stepbrother called that night, sounded exhausted. She's completely lost it. Won't admit she did anything wrong. Keeps saying you and Dad conspired against her. I told her I'm not talking to her until she takes accountability. She said I'm dead to her. I'm sorry, man. Don't be. She sabotaged your life for 12 years and stole from your dad. She made her choices. Final update. The divorce finalized last week. Took 6 weeks because of the criminal investigation. The embezzlement charges stuck. $48,000 stolen over 2 years, fully documented. She tried claiming it was compensation, but her lawyer advised her to take a plea deal. Probation, restitution, and community service. No jail time, which my dad was fine with. He just wanted his money back. The restitution she owes was deducted from her divorce settlement. She would have gotten about $90,000 from marital assets. After the theft deduction, she walked away with around $45,000 and her car. She tried to fight for more, claimed she deserved half the business value. My dad's lawyer pointed out she'd stolen from said business. Judge wasn't sympathetic. The house, retirement accounts, business, all stayed with my dad. She got a fraction of the liquid savings. She's living with her sister now in a 2-bedroom apartment. According to my stepbrother, who talks to her occasionally with boundaries, she's bitter. Tells everyone she was betrayed and robbed by her ungrateful stepson and manipulative ex-husband. Zero accountability, still playing victim. Her sister actually called my dad trying to negotiate. She made mistakes, but gave you 12 years. You could help her get back on her feet. My dad, she sabotaged my son and stole from me. She got what the law said she deserved. We're done. Sister tried the guilt trip. What about forgiveness? Family? Family doesn't do what she did. Goodbye. My stepbrother cut contact with her completely after she demanded he choose sides. He chose peace. Still works at the shop with my dad. They're closer now than when she was around creating division. He told me, she spent 12 years trying to push you out so I'd inherit everything, but all she did was lose the family she had. That's on her. The will got updated. 50-50 split between me and my stepbrother for my dad's portion of the business. Dad also set up a trust so she can't contest anything. Ironclad. The girl I was seeing, we're still together, 8 months now. She thinks the whole situation is insane, but she's been supportive. Family dinners are actually peaceful now. Weird how that works when you remove the poison. I started therapy. 12 years of manipulation takes time to unpack. My therapist pointed out I'd internalized her narrative so completely I'd started self-sabotaging before she could interfere. Picking fights with girlfriends, finding excuses to end things, convincing myself I wasn't relationship material. Because if I didn't try, she couldn't ruin it. That's gonna take a while to work through. I reached out to 2 of my exes. Not to get back together, just to apologize and explain what happened. One appreciated it. One told me to lose her number. Fair. My stepmom tried one last manipulation a few weeks ago. Sent a letter to my apartment. long, handwritten thing about how she'd always loved me like a son and was devastated by the misunderstanding and hoped we could heal as a family. Then the last paragraph. I lost everything. My marriage, my home, my security. I'm 59 and starting over with nothing. I'm asking you, person to person, if you could talk to your father about helping me. Just enough to get a small place. Please, I know you have a kind heart. I showed it to my dad. He laughed. Not a happy laugh. Sad, tired. She still doesn't get it. I wrote back one sentence. You didn't lose everything. You threw it away. Haven't heard back. Don't expect to. So that's it. Is it happy? Not really. A family broke apart. My stepbrother lost his relationship with his mom. My dad lost 12 years with someone he thought he could trust. I lost 12 years of my 20s to someone else's manipulation. But it's honest. She faced real consequences. Lost her marriage, her financial security, relationships with people she claimed to care about. All because she chose manipulation and greed over being a decent human. And me? I'm learning to trust again. Learning that not every relationship is doomed. Learning that my dead mom would probably be furious I let someone disrespect her memory for over a decade. I'm also learning that standing up for yourself, even when it destroys family dynamics, is sometimes the only option. That documentation matters, that trusting your gut is important, that some people will never take accountability and you can't force them to. My stepmom is still out there telling her version, still playing victim, still convinced she did nothing wrong. I can't control that. What I can control is my life, my boundaries, my future. And that future doesn't include her. Ever. To everyone who messaged support, thank you. To the few who said I went too far, she sabotaged my relationships for 12 years and stole money. She made her choices. I just made sure there were consequences. Time to close this chapter. Edit. Stop DMing asking if my girlfriend is single. She's not. We're good. Also, stop asking for my stepmom's info. No doxing. Edit 2. The business is fine. My stepbrother and dad are handling the bookkeeping now. Turns out, you don't need a thief to manage your accounts. Who knew?